From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.41 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,215 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,564. Antiwar.com reports passed on Wednesday the $716 billion National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, now goes to President Trump for signature. In addition to spending an unfathomable amount of money on the military, the bill includes a flurry of amendments addressing various issues. One of the key issues is the Saudi invasion of Yemen. U.S. involvement in the war will be limited, with the NDAA insisting that the U.S. stop all operations until both the UAE and Saudi Arabia demonstrate support for UN peace efforts and cut down the huge civilian death toll. Other provisions include Representative Tulsi Gabbard's bill to prevent the U.S. from arming terrorist organizations in Syria and a prohibition on selling F-35 warplanes to Turkey. It mandates a report on U.S.-Turkey relations be presented to Congress. The NDAA declined to establish the Space Force announced by President Trump, but did include provisions that seek clarification from the Secretary of Defense on how exactly such a force would operate in the future. Similar details are sought on the future of cyber warfare. Another amendment bans the U.S. government from working with Chinese telecom company ZTE. The amendment won out over a rival version that also forbade ZTE from doing any business in the U.S. at all. The NDAA also includes language expressing support for the Kurdish Peshmerga forces in Iraq, instructing the U.S. government to support this as part of the anti-the Islamic State campaign. It forbade the U.S. from arming Shiite militias in Iraq as well, however. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports a federal appeals court on Wednesday ruled that the Trump administration's threat to deny federal grants to jurisdictions with so-called sanctuary policies is unconstitutional. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the lower judge's ruling for the city of San Francisco and Santa Clara counties in California. The two jurisdictions sued President Trump in February after he signed an executive order putting the country's local governments on notice that they would lose federal funding if they refused to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Judge Sidney Thomas wrote in the ruling opinion, "We conclude that under the principle of separation of powers and in consideration of the spending clause, which vests exclusive power to Congress to impose conditions on federal grants, the executive branch may not refuse to disperse the federal grants in question without congressional authorization." San Francisco City Attorney Dennis Herrera said San Francisco would lose $1.2 billion a year in federal funding, which is mostly used for healthcare, nutrition, and other programs for the city's poor. The city has had sanctuary policies since 1989. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Wednesday removed Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, along with the state's government, from a list of defendants in a class action lawsuit over the Flint water crisis. The lawsuit, brought by a dozen residents of Flint and 3 local businesses, involved 13 claims related to a decision in 2014 to pipe water from the Flint River instead of water provided by the Detroit Water and Sewerage. The water from the Flint River was more corrosive than Detroit's and rife with lead and bacteria. By the time Flint reverted to using the DWSD, some residents of the largely African-American city, including children, showed evidence of lead poisoning. In the 128-page opinion by U.S. District Judge Judith E. Levy, she dismissed the governor, former Flint Mayor Dane Walling, and other state and municipal officers from the suit. State Treasurer Andy Dillon, former Michigan Health and Human Services Director Nick Lyon, 2 former emergency managers of the city, and others were kept as defendants. This has been FPP Radio News, online at FPPRadio.com.